Hello and welcome to the 2024 Harvest Bonspiel A-Event semifinal. The winner of these two games will face each other tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow morning rather, in the A-Event final at 11:30 a.m. The losers will face each other in the D-Event final at 9 a.m. So they are playing not only for the final, but to avoid getting up early. Teams today. On sheet 1 with red, Help, I Need a Sweeper. That is a Philadelphia team skipped by Dunnam. Yellow, Sweep and Shout. That's a Potomac team skipped by King. Sheet 2, red, While My Front End Gently Weeps. Kaur, Plainfield. And yellow, yesterday, All My Draws Seem So Far Away. Gallegos, Ardsley.
$1 in a dream, $1 you can make 9. Who's in? Come on, don't rush. Here we go. That's one.
And first stone on sheet 2 is away.
$1 in a dream.
Looks like that is yesterday. All My Draws Seem So Far Away. And Erica Durba. Meanwhile, on sheet 1. Tayesh is throwing the first rock. Looks like it's going to come up short, though. Sheet 2 ended up with a stone in the top 12. And Jazzy is going to elect to take it out. Michelle throwing the takeout while John sweeps frantically to keep it on line. Lori's first shot is coming out to a corner guard. Looks like they are plan B'ing it and getting it in. It is now in there, and Kevin is electing to take it out. Aaron is going to be trying to take out. Wow, Matt is calling for a straight line. Sorry, distracted by Matt's amazing hair in this game. We are the Beatles theme for this year, and we have a mop top on sheet 2. Mike is looking for a control weight hit from Lori. Meanwhile, Michelle's second, drawing to a corner. Mike calling for the sweep. Bill and Susan sweeping hard. Looks like they are holding it, and they're going to get on the inside of it. Mike sweeps out the yellow. Sheet 2. We're going to have Tim try and take out this shot on the outside while my front end gently weeps. That's different from our last draw where we had While My Skip Gently Weeps. See if While My Front End Gently Weeps can get the same outcome. Matt calling whoa, and Kevin saying all the way. Gonna spill out with a little help from Mike. No, it just holds on. Jazzy saying to split the house. Mike saying draw to the corner. John Geppert. Dan likes the weight. Meanwhile, Bill's stone, little light. Mike calling the line on the sweep. Meanwhile, Matt calling another takeout with Tim Klein in the hack. Mike's Team Stone is just biting the 12-foot on sheet 1. Sheet 2 calling for the sweep and spilling out. Meanwhile, Kevin sweep and shout, trying to split the house. T-weight is called. John trying to draw to the wing. Dan saying it's heaven. Mike going for the takeout on the intern side. Normal weight called. Curling. Called for the sweep. Meanwhile, Matt's calling for the takeout. The rock in the back of the house. Kevin exchanging hits with Jess. Delivering. Matt shouting for the sweep. Getting it. And yes, just ticks it out, spills out again. Jazzy will be able to draw in. The takeout on sheet 1 takes it out, sticks around as a biter. Mike looking to see which stone is which in order. Looking for T-line out in the on the wing. Jazzy's first on sheet 2. Just a draw. Sweeping hard. Sheet 1 looks like it might come up a little short. Oh, no. Just gets in there. Sheet 2 just biting. And Sharon going for the takeout there. Mike Dunnam sitting shot in the corner. Kevin thinking to freeze to it. Sheet 2, takeout successful. Leaves the guard on the left side. Looks like Jess is suggesting a takeout for that stone. Oh. Sean here getting the time. Sweeping hard and hitting the first red instead of the second, and bouncing to the edge of the button. Meanwhile, Jazzy's stone going just behind the tee. Susan trying to take out the center yellow. Jess just put in there. Meanwhile, we're to skips rocks on sheet 2. Sheet 1, takeout successful, rolls out to the wing where it freezes to the other red. Kevin looking like he wants to split those out. Matt, meanwhile, the normal weight to try and take out the Jazzy's last stone on the wing. Looks like it's going to be nose hit. Dan saying he wants the shot, he knows what it's going to do. Dan off first with his takeout. Jazzy calling clean. Whoa. Yes, it's curling. Kevin's takeout is also away. Dan's stone rolling into the back 8. Matt going to elect to take it out. Meanwhile, Kevin's stone sweeping, going to hit the one red. Leaves both reds in the rings, however, because the red jams. Leaving Mike to take out the corresponding shooter. Matt on sheet 2. Looking for the hit and stick. Control is called. It's moving. It's moving. And a hit and a little bit of a roll out to the wing. Dan going for firm and likely a blank. Meanwhile, Mike's stone being called for sweep. Dan's stone going at the same time. Mike's stone hits it. Jazzy's calling hard. And he just makes it and spills out for the blank. Team While My Front End Gently Weeps maintains hammer with a blank on the first end. Meanwhile, Kevin's last stone. Looks like he's looking to try to hit and trying to hit and roll over to the wing.
Bet is on one. That's where the money is. $7 there.
Looks like gonna be in the house on sheet 2. Probably back 12. Biting over. And here comes the takeout. Hits. Oh, spills out. Means Mike has a open draw for 3. He's going to draw towards his own stones. Dan and John just watching as Michelle's stone trying to just encourage it along to curl a little more. Now Dan's counter sweeping, and it lies just north of the tee line. Matt's going to go right for the takeout. Pretty happy with the stone on sheet 1. And sheet 1 is going, and it's going to stop, and they call 3. Meanwhile, takeout successful on sheet 2, still stuck around. Hard sweeping on sheet 2. Dan saying 3.
There was 3 red. Yeah. I'm going to give her this and you can get it back from her.
Ends up a 2 guard.
Would everybody please put their cards here so the deck stays clean?
Tell her the bookie wants to.
That's a good idea. Should say NFW.
Mike's and Lori's first stone is going to go a little deep and swept into the top 12. Kevin going to ignore it, looks like, to throw a corner guard. Tim Stone going to go around Jazzy's corner guard. Not quite buried though, so Jazzy's going to go after it. Double as possible. Normal. Nope, control weight.
That means control up, John. Yeah.
Lori's second rock. Sheet 1. Calling for the curl on sheet 2. Curling, trying hard. Just going to get the side of it. Flops over. Sit second shot. Lori's second is the centerline guard. Meanwhile, Matt on sheet 2 is going to try to take out that red that just stuck around. Tim delivering. Matt calling him off immediately. Trying to push it, but misses the takeout, leaving Jazzy with an opportunity. Take out that, the back shuts down that shot. Meanwhile, Ben Stone from sheet 1, going to be out in the corner. No, that was Jazzy's stone, not Tayesh's stone. Trying to push this, Dan hits it and flops over. Going to stay full 12 in the back. Matt going for the same hit from last time. This time Sharon going for it. Mike helping on the sweep on sheet 1, dragging it all the way to the button. hard to keep it straight. Takes it out. Rolls over top of the other red one and swept out. 14-5, the hog-to-hog time.
Tighten up just a little bit, Jeffrey.
Means the ice is mostly up to speed. Ben on sheet 1, looking to clear something. Now it's going to bump off the red. Bounce into the wing. Third shot currently. Jazzy's first. Dan saying always curl, always curl. Can't touch it, a little hot. 13. Call was for 14-5. 13, some was done, which means it's out the back of the house. Now Mike on sheet 1 calling for the takeout, but it's taken off, as the inside out shots sometimes have really done. Sweeper manages to hold it and take out the stone. Almost takes out Mike in the process. Tim, meanwhile, on sheet 2, going hard, trying to get to this back red. Oh, he's in front of the red, but on the tee line. Meanwhile, sheet 2, Ben is looking now to take out something. Jess is called to keep it straight. He's going to just tap the front. And out, caught before it can bounce back in. Mike is going to call front guard. Meanwhile, Dan is calling plan B. Curling. It's going to take it out and just curled enough to get by their red. So while my front end gently weeps, currently sitting the 2 as we go into skips rocks. This rock on sheet 1 looks like a little overswept. It's going to be deeper than they ends up curling a little bit more, but Kevin going to try to take advantage with a double. Jess Stone goes away, as is Matt. Jess Stone continuing to go out a little bit. Looks like hits both rocks, but the one swings back or doesn't get shot out far enough. Sheet 2, we have Ardsley getting the shot rock in front of Team Kaur's stone. Mike consulting the crowd for which way to go. Going to draw under. Nope, going to draw back in. Meanwhile, Dan, his first skip stone. trying to chip out the yellow and split. Calling for the curl, Jazzy. Makes it, and is it going to stick around? Is it going to stick around? Yes, it is. Meanwhile, Mike Dunnam, his team draws in and once again gets to the button, mostly behind cover. Kevin looking at whether he wants to remove. Jess asking behind tee. Meanwhile, Matt's final stone on sheet 2 getting ready to be delivered. Looks like trying to freeze that back red. Class is called. Trying to stop the curl. Call off. Sharon's calling him off, calling back on. Meanwhile, Jess's final is going to make it past the guard and hit and spill just a little too far. Meanwhile, Jazzy sees an opportunity here to score 3 or 4. Mike's first looking to get rid of the yellow and stick around. Dan's final stone. Little communication problems. Just manages to get it out. And a score of 3. Meanwhile, Mike's first stone. Calling for the sweep, and hit and flop into the center. Even Kevin. Sweeping hard for Michelle's rock. Looks like they're going to pull it all the way to just about the center line. Meanwhile, Kevin deciding to try to do the double here. Just hitting high of nose. Should make them both go away. Matt's sweeper saying top of the house for the stone on sheet 2. That's Aaron's first. Sets Dan off, or Jazzy off on a hit that stone. Just screaming for sweep. Everyone's screaming for sweep. Holding it on sheet 1. Oh, just deflects and misses. Meanwhile, sheet 2 makes the hit and sticking around as a biter. Mike's going to try to cover up that gap, making it hard for scoring at all. Trying to line up the steal. Meanwhile, Aaron's drawing to the right in front of the... Oh, no, drawing to the left. Trying to get a corner guard. Mike's final stone. Line's good, they say. Slowing down, but it's still got plenty. I think they are into the pile. Just north of the pile. Gonna have to just draw around with enough weight to jostle the shot stone. Sit one yourself. Meanwhile, John's first stone. Back four being called. 14-2 is the call for that weight. Dan drags it back into the back eight. Meanwhile, Matt's going to clear the guard. Kevin thinking about what he can do here. Tim on all my draws seem so far away. Going to possibly drive this back into the other red. Just taps it out for a nice double. Meanwhile, Kevin here on hammer. Jazzy calling for the draw into the center. Sweeper saying guard out of hand. Meanwhile, Kevin's on sheet one. A little bit down, they say. It's kind of floating. Needs to curl. Needs to curl, and we'll get both. No, we'll only get one of them, so it's a steal of two. Matt calling for the hit and flop under cover. So it is now 5-0 on sheet one. Makes the double on sheet two. Sits on and sticks on the button. Dan and Jassy debating whether to hit and flop open or flop under. Dan and Jazzy discussing normal. Meanwhile, Mike's team, help, I need a sweeper. Trying to sweep it. A little off of center line. Kevin going to go for the corner guard again. Jazzy delivering on sheet two. Tayesh is on sheet one. Sweeping. Dan calls them off. Dan calls them back on. Sweeping. And noses it. Matt's going to try to return the hit and flop under with Sharon. Meanwhile, Lori's second. Trying to draw under, looks like. Sharon Stone just making contact. Clearing the house. Meanwhile, Lori's Stone is sailing. Going to be going a little deep. But still, still on the button. Looks like Kevin's calling for a hit and flop under cover. Jazzy Stone. Open house to draw to, so is drawing under the cover. And says, a little hard to hear. Sheet 2, just a biter. Sheet 1, clips the guard. Clips both guards and ends up in the center. Leaves Mike to decide what to do here. On for the sweep right away on sheet 2. Hard. Trying to. Calling him off. Gonna hit and flop out. Staying out of the rings. Means Dan's first. Has a choice of a draw. Meanwhile, Bill looks like trying to pick out the yellow. Picks it out and sticks around as a biter. Dan's first. Drawing around. Using the yellow guard. Kevin just trying to hit. Oh no, drawing. Dan Stone, little heavy. Looks like it's going to just sail past. Meanwhile, Ben's Stone is curling. Sweeper's trying to help it into the wing. Got around the guard. Still visible though. Mike's gonna. Mike's going after it. Says he's okay with a hit in the guard, just clearing something out. Meanwhile, Matt has a chance for a skip deuce. Stone is away on sheet 1 and 2. Mike's calling the sweep hard on sheet 1. Looks pretty good. Makes it and flops across the entire house. Gonna sit right on the 12-foot. Meanwhile, Matt's Stone drawing mostly undercover. Jazzy calling Dan to that back yellow. Ben second Stone. again calling the draw around, trying to replace it. Oh. Ben drawing under the right side, and Dan just missing, making good contact on that, which means Matt does have a chance for a skip's deuce. Susan's first stone. Mike saying wants the center line. Looks like a light and curling already. Mike saying it's going to get there. A little more. There we go. And a good center line guard on sheet 1. Sheet 2, they're just trying to get it. Just need to be half white. But they do more than that, and they draw almost to the button for a skip's deuce on sheet 2. Normal's heard on sheet 1. Trying to clear it, but looks like a little offline. Mike now trying to put another one under the center guard. Susan's spot way. Mike saying got a curl. Tim trying to curl the first one back to the center line. Meanwhile, Mike saying it's a little hot. Gonna stop at the top 4. But it is fully open for Kevin to go after. Sets up the double.
You can try to move both up.
Jazzy calling to the corner. Dan thinking it's 3. Kevin going, changing mind to a draw. Dan sweeping to corner. Jessa Stone. Looks like they're sweeping it pretty hard.
You got a really good one.
Going to be a guard on sheet 1 rather than a draw. Tim is sweeping on sheet 2, trying to keep the line straight. Going to end up center line guard. A little off of the other guard, but meanwhile, Mike's first shot on sheet 1. Michelle's second shot. Hair more, they say. Dan now calling light. It's going wide. Another corner guard. Double corners. Top house is Matt's call on sheet 2. Bill and Susan being told to straighten the thing out. Or Bill and Lori, sorry. It is staying straight. It looks like it's going to clear the guard. Which it does, just barely. Kind of sticks to it. Meanwhile, on sheet 2, Stone is going to miss the guards, but it's going to be a little heavy. Sweeping it just to stop at the back of the house. Jazzy asking, is it worth it? And the answer is yes. Normal called. Peel called then. Sheet 2. Kevin's first on sheet 1. Normal up. Just going to do one at a time, Jazzy says. Just getting the first guard. Rolls out. Almost gets a second. Kevin's got control. Sheet 1. It's floating out, so they're trying to curl it a little more. Hard curl, hard curl. Gonna tick. Mike's still shot and second Stone. But the yellow jammed on the corner. Mike going to try to block that path into the center. Meanwhile, Tim Stone coming a little short. Or, no, trying to be a guard. Jazzy calling normal again to do more clearing. Normal sweeper's call. Jazzy calling for the sweep. Nope, off the sweep. Sweep again. And gets one. Just one. Moves off. Meanwhile, on sheet 1, Mike Stone is coming around. And it's going to be fairly deep into the house. Pushing it to the back 4. Sharon's trying to draw in. House just still has the one lonely yellow in it. Tim being called. Try to curl it. Trying to finish it and bury it. Is partially a little bit under, but plenty open. Normal called. And hammer for Kevin. Gonna try to draw, pop the Stone on the button. Warm room trivia night is going on. Kevin on sheet 1 is away. Jazzy on sheet 2 is away. Dan calling the sweep, John sweeping. And knows, but jams. So Ardsley still sitting the 1. And Matt electing to try to guard it. Matt's stone going a little deeper than a first call. Kind of a close guard on the right side. Meanwhile, Lori's stone.
Where do you want your broom? Like, you ready?
Mike sweeping it in, top 12. Sweep and shout. Kevin calling for a corner. Dan calling for a heavy draw. Promote their own red. Curling is called. Straight. Online. And promotes the stone under the yellow covers. Splits the other one. Red sitting 1. Mike calling a draw to the center button. Mike calling for the sweep. Meanwhile, Matt's first skips rock. Gonna try to promote. Looks like punch it through. Mike's calling a halt to the sweepers. Gonna be T-line weight. Forcing Kevin to chase it.
What about the draw?
Ben asking about the draw. Sharon calling them off on the sweep. Splitting the 2 guards. One's in, but opens up the shot rock. Top 12 called. Sheet 1, Jess thinking it's going to get in. Getting close, but gonna just bite the 8. Mike saying, take it out. Sheet 1, Mike calling for the sweep. Looks like we have picked out the yellow. The red spills to the edge of the house. Stays a biter. Meanwhile, Dan Drawing in. Back 8 weight called. Looks like lining up to split. Curl. It's going to be close for that split. Oh. Just a freeze instead. Meanwhile, Ben Stone. Jess is hitting this hard. Feels light, they sweepers say. And bounces off of the shot stone. Red still shot. Mike calling another pick out. Normal weight. Meanwhile, Matt's second stone on sheet 2. Trying to do a double takeout here. Calling against, sweep against the line. Takeout successful on sheet 1. Get rid of 1 on sheet 2, but red and while my front end gently weeps is still sitting the 1. Dan going to try drawing through the port for a second shot. Jazzy looking for if the double is there. And on sheet 1, a double takeout. Leaves sweep and shout sitting the 1. 2 and 3 belongs to help. I need a sweeper. Calling for the sweep. Stopping the sweep. They're in. And that is a score of 2 for while my front end gently weeps. Meanwhile, Bills, no, not Bills, Susan Stone on sheet 1, coming along, calling for the sweep, hits it and sticks around. Kevin not sure what to do. Dan's thinking it's a little heavy. Score 5-2 on sheet 2. Looks like this is going into about top 4. Hit on sheet 1 is going to go just roll out to the outside. Sitting second shot behind cover. Well, can still see half of it according to Susan, asking for control. Meanwhile, Eric is going to try to hit and will stick. Jazzy's going to turn around and do the same. Mike calling for sweep hard, trying to get around the guard. No, will not get around the guard. Rolls back all the way across the sheet. Settles in. Gears a little bit out. can't quite tell who is second shot. Meanwhile, hit taken on sheet 2. Matt going to try to hit and flop. Kevin going after the shot stone. Meanwhile, Matt calling for Tim to sweep on sheet 2. Is curling more than he wants. Curling more than he wants. Just touches it, but leaves it as a biter. Hard to get a piece on sheet 1, but no, will go through. Mike, meanwhile, gonna try taking out the lone yellow rock. John splitting the house. Top 4. Splitting the house in the center. Looks like a little deeper than top 4. T-line. Meanwhile, Mike on sheet 1 going for the takeout. Matt calling the control to try to hit and flop over. Calling up on the sheet 1, likely bouncing and out, and taking out the yellow. So just 3 reds sitting in the ring on sheet 1. Tim Stone on sheet 2 going to make contact and just nose and stick. Jazzy's going to exchange another hit. Kevin trying to figure out what he can do. Looks like drawing to the center is the plan. Jazzy calling clean. Looks like it will take out the center and stick. Just in front of the forefoot. Matt going to take out in return, with Tim delivering. Kevin trying to draw on sheet 1. Normal weight on sheet 2. Going to hit and spill out to the wing, almost T-line. Dan going to hold the broom for Jazzy to return the hit. Try to spill back into the center. Kevin's draw looks a little short. Going to end up as a guard. Even Mike's second stone. Mike trying to figure out what he wants to do. Going around is the call. Jazzy's first. Trying to hit and flop into the center. Dan calling him off. On and off, that's always a good sign. And hits and flops slightly in. in now. Go ahead and try hit. Tim needs to hold it. Holding the line. Hard, hard, hard. He seems to be holding it. Gets it. And it rolls into the center. Meanwhile, Mike Stone just bumps his up a little bit. Kevin just needs to be more than halfway onto the white to score a point. Jazzy second. Control. Dan calling off. Jazzy going to spill out. Meaning blank is back on. No, Matt's going to try to draw to the wing. Kevin Stone going in a little too much. But no, he will score the point. And Sharon Stone being dragged, looks like it's just not a biter. Dan checking to see if they are on, but no, his team is Shot Rock and the only one touching the paint. Jazzy going to split the house with Dan's first of the skip stones. First stone, fifth end for sheet one. Sheet two sweeping hard to get the stone as far as it will go, as Dan says, which is top 8. Matt calling for the hit and flop to the wing, looking to try to get undercover or with some backing after the flop. Meanwhile, Lori drawing to the corner. Mike saying it's on the yellow, needs to move. Gonna tick it. It's okay. Don't have the no-tick rule. Kevin looking for a draw under or a guard. Matt on sheet 2. Calling for Tim to sweep to keep it straight. Off, wanted to curl a little more. Hits and looks pretty good. Flops. Pushes the red out. Dan saying let's chase him. Dan saying let's try for the double instead.
You don't think we can just do that or that?
Double or freeze, and Jazzy says double. Firm weight, a little more than normal. Meanwhile, Lori's second, trying to be held straight. Dan. Jazzy calls him on. Whoa. Yes, whoa, yes, whoa. And a double made. Matt trying to see if he's going to settle for one or if he's just going to throw through for a blank.
Line is tight. Get line. Again, I think we're by. Yeah, we're by. So Jack.
Kevin saying stop.
Whoa, we look hot. Whoa, we look hot.
13-2, a little heavy, might be back out. Mike's going to help it along, and it will be out of the house. Meanwhile, Matt Stone going off with some alacrity. I think that might have also been a hog line violation, but doesn't matter. So it will be a blank on the fifth end. Brings us to the sixth end. On sheet 2, they need to get an eighth end, they need to complete 2 ends in the next 50 minutes. I think they're going to be pretty good with that. Sheet 1, that sweeps very close to being biting. Kevin's saying it's in. And saying a little heavy.
Put it back up.
13-8. That's going to sweep it through. Or no, sweep it to the back 12. Meanwhile, Ben trying to draw in.
Solid 1-2.
Calling for a guard on sheet 2. Sheet 1, well, it is going to be a guard. Leaves us with 4 guards and possible biter. Mike saying, let's clear this guard. Jazzy looking to go out to the wing. Bill's rock is away for the takeout. Heel. It's kind of floating on sheet 1. Trying to curl. Just going to miss it. Fly by. Meanwhile, Jazzy watches as Herstone gets to the back of the 4. Aaron's rock. Tim is sweeping to try to make it curl a little bit out to the wing. Meanwhile, Jess is going around and touching button. 14 called on sheet 2 for weight. Means it's slowing down a little bit. Mike deciding to go after that guard again. Susan. Dan saying T-line back 4. Going to just tap their own over and stop in the back 8. Meanwhile, Susan's shot on sheet 1. Calling for a sweep. Looks like it's going to curl. Might curl. Yes, and will they get the double? No, not the double. It'll stuff, but they do take the 1 out. And now the yellow shot rock is not under cover. Kevin saying, let's put a guard up. Meanwhile, Tim throwing a control weight, trying to get this rock out of the 4-foot. Sharon sweeping and up. And 1 and through the hole between them and rolling out. Gets rid of the 1, but not a double. Calling a guard on sheet 1. Just over and up, Kevin says. Stop. Don't want it to keep going.
I think we're going to use that one.
Good guard.
Your call. You want to call with your girl?
Mike saying let's. Looks like he's going to try to do the run back of his own.
Run the red.
Wants to hit the red into the yellow. Susan up for that. Meanwhile, Dan looking to peel a guard. Or not Dan, Jazzy. Hard is called, hard is called. Takes out the guard, rolls over to the other side. Meanwhile, Mike is shouting for that, holding it straight. Not going to hold it straight enough, and will kick the rock out the back instead of into the one he wanted. Looks like Kevin going to try to get another one in, or possibly just something underneath to prevent the run back. Tim's second is coming hard. Aaron's sweeping hard, but it's just going to tick off the guard. Jazzy's going to help it into the 12-foot at the edge. Undercover. Dan's thinking peel out these guards. Want to do their best to keep Matt from having anywhere to hide. Matt down by 3 in the 6th with hammer. Kevin's first skip rock. Always curl, Jess says. Feels T. Sweeper saying too wide, Jess says. Whoa, whoa. Jazzy's normal going. Dan letting it go. Needs to curl a little bit more. And going to just sweep by and end up taking out their own in the back. Mike, meanwhile, for his first shot, and Mike does have the hammer in this end. It's looking like he's going to try to double, running that yellow into the center yellow and knocking them both out. Sharon's rock, trying to get it under those guards. Colin Tim wants it to curl a little bit more. It's going to be down to the 4-foot, but out in the open, which means Dan is saying hit, get rid of it. Doesn't want to hit and flop because worries about the yellow running back into one of theirs. Hitting it off on the high side instead. Has a bigger hole that they can knock it through, but they'll lose the shooter. Trying to curl it on sheet 2. Sheet 1, Mike's getting contact with both. Knocks the one out. The shot rock moved over a little easier to get to now. Kevin's saying, let's stick something in front of it. Meanwhile, Matt saying back line. Hack is called by the sweepers. Matt's holding off, wanting it to curl more. Now holding off this curl because we are going to just punch their own back a little bit. Red is still shot. Jassy calling Dan to split. Meanwhile, Kevin on sheet 1 trying his draw. Top 12 is the call from the sweepers on sheet 1. Jesse's calling whoa. Brock needs to curl. Brock needs to curl. Going to be a guard. Meanwhile, Dan's first. They're calling the sweep, trying to keep it from moving. No roll. Oh, and he punches it out. Good shot for Dan. Matt's going to try to get something partially buried and still counting. This is Matt's first stone. 3 stones remain in the end. Meanwhile, Mike now looking at his stone. Looks like he's going to just try drawing in to the button. It's a long way to curl. Matt on sheet 2, trying to draw 4-shot stone. This is his second to last rock. Mike's stone is away on sheet 1. Matt's stone is slowly going. Looks like it's going to be a little heavy. Dan taking advantage of that. It's a close call as to who's shot here. But Dan with his last is going to try to just knock him out a little bit to the back or sit in front of both of them. Steal a 1 on sheet 1. Leaves the score 8-2, with Team Dunnam having the 8 and hammer. Team Dunnam has help. I need a sweeper. Centerline guard called. Meanwhile, Dan's calling for the curl. They're sweeping hard to get it there. Don't think they're going to get it much further. Nope, stops at the top 8. Means Matt has a shot for 2 here. Just needs to draw and sit on that red to eliminate all doubt. is Hammer on sheet 2. Lori Dunnam's first stone. Mike calling her to draw to the wing. Curling already. Looks like it's almost downhill here. Brock does stop in the rings, back of the rings. About even with the back 8, but out in the 12 foot. Meanwhile, Matt with Hammer is away. We're sweeping. Sweeper's just sweeping lightly, called up. Just the one now. Skinny's the guard, taps the red back, and a nice draw for 2. Brings the score 5-4 on sheet 2. Team While My Front End Gently Weeps has the 5 and Hammer. They have 32 minutes to finish this end to get a last end, an 8th end. I think they're pretty safe. Lori trying to take out the top yellow. Needs to curl. It's going to hit. Just going to flop out to the wing, and looks like Lori's stone will stick around, but the yellow stone of sweep and shout will go out. Meanwhile, we have Aaron's first stone. Just making it to the center line, I think. Pretty close. Kevin drawing down to the wing. Trying to sit and freeze to help Anita sweeper stones. It is running. Back for the sweeper calls. Trying to make it sweep. Trying to make a curl. Jess is. It's going to stop just on line with Mike Stone, and Mike's saying, I'm going to take this one out. Meanwhile, Michelle Stone just squeaking in to be a corner guard. Matt saying, put another one on the center. Mike calling for the sweep. Line's coming. Line's coming. It's going to hit it and jam. We'll sit on the button, which is nice for now, but Kevin can hit and flop and sit too. Jazzy's saying, let's draw under the corner on sheet 2. Wanting to keep the play away from the center as she has Hammer. Ben's shot is curling quite a bit. Gonna hit and roll a little bit towards the left, but sticking around. Mike is going to try to hit. He's got a double available to him. If the red hits the left side of the yellow, it can bounce back the other way into the other yellow. This is already too far over for that. No, it's not going to hit anything. Kevin an opportunity. Set up a center guard. Matt shouting for line, trying to get around his guard, but looks like he's not going to. Setting up a wall of 3 guards. Jessie trying to see how she can take advantage of it. No, she wants to peel the guards. Does her no good to have those guards up there with Hammer. Ben is pushing hard to try to get the rock to go slide just over to cover. And a pretty good sweep job there. Mike's going to throw a little lighter of the takeout so it curls more. Try to just pick this out. Meanwhile, sheet 2, double, triple, everything gets moving. One's out, one's to the far corner, and the other is covering up a little bit to the left, so that's a very good outcome. Mike's sweeping hard to get around that guard and just does. And the red rolls not quite all the way over to yellow, but a good shot considering the difficulty of getting to there. Tim trying to draw around undercover. Meanwhile, Jess, control, trying to take out Mike's red on the edge of the forefoot. Sweeping hard to keep it straight. Takes it and rolls a little bit. The doubles bike back in play for Mike. Looks like he's just going to try to hit and flop. Jassy gonna clear out the center. No stones in the house, so keeping it clear. Allow her to blank and keep Hammer coming back in the final end, which is a big advantage. Mike calling them off. Yes, Mike says. Jassy says hard. Jassy hits the one, bounces over, hits the other. Mike makes his takeout. Matt trying to figure out what to do. Matt says another guard. Meanwhile, Kevin's first rock. Going to try to clear out the red. Needs to avoid curling too far because then he could jam on the back yellow. Sharon Stone. Looks like they're thinking it's a little heavy for a guard. No, they're thinking it's just perfect. They'll be right in the top of the 12-foot. Jazzy telling Dan that he's trying to throw when it's her turn. Holding the line on sheet 1. Hold it. It's over curling, and gonna miss the rock entirely. Dan holding the broom, looking for a takeout. Control is called. Sweeping hard at the very end. Trying to get the roll. Gets the roll under the corner. Rolls just out of the rings. Matt deciding to draw undercover, trying to force Dan to take one. Mike's first. Pretty close. Sweepers think it's a little lighter than they want it. I think it's got the weight. There you go. Keeping it high so that if Kevin hits that, he doesn't get shot rock. Dan on sheet 2 calling for normal.
Just watch the center line, just for you. Just gotta be on the center.
Normal, fair amount of weight. Little wide, got to curl a bit. Here comes. Calling for the curl, sweeping with the curl, and sweep, hit it, yellow goes out, red is going to just make it under the corner guard and biting. Making it a very finesse shot for Matt to get. Looks still pretty open. Not sure if Matt's going to try to freeze to it. Kevin's first is a little light. He's going to get to the red and then just freeze to it, it looks like. Just pushes it a little bit. Means Mike's hammer shot here will be for 3. Just needs to touch the white. Well, a little more than touch the white, but pretty much just touch the white to get a third shot. Meanwhile, Matt's shot is curling and it's going to just tickle it. Not enough to hit it out, but sits shot still. This is Dan's first stone. He's trying to hit and roll back towards the center. Trying to roll away from his stone to prevent Matt from getting a double. Mike's stone looks a little heavy, but it's handshakes anyways. And sheet 1 is ending with Help, I Need a Sweeper, winning, and will be playing tomorrow at 11:30. Sweep and Shout will fall to the D Division, but it's the D Division finals at 9 a.m. Matt's thinking of trying to hit and falling into the wing. or drawing under. Dan does still have hammer shot, so whatever Matt does, Dan will likely chase. 2 reds in there. If Matt doesn't get rid of one of them, could be a big end for Dan, and while my front end gently weeps. Here goes Matt's last. Tim, hold it straight. He is going to get a piece of it, but he'll roll out. Dan will have a draw for 2. Last stone is away. Just need to make sure it touches paint. Just clean, they say. Keep anything from running under it. $14-2. It's a little fast, so Matt's going to try, but no, it's going to hold up, and that will be 2. Big end for While My Front End Gently Weeps. Brings us to the final end. Bringing it home. Score is 7-4 with hammer on Yesterday All My Draws Seem So Far Away. Needs to score 3 to force draw to button or 4 to win. Jazzy calling to get it in. No guards for Matt to take advantage of. 13-3. Going to be in the back of the house. Nope, going to be all the way through. Matt calling the guard. Corner guard. Grade 2. That's the guard. Oh, it's dying. Just needs to get over, which it does. That's a 1 guard. Jazzy's calling another one, wants it in or through. Similar weight. Needs to curl to avoid hitting the guard. Misses the guard. Gonna keep going all the way through. Matt calling the second corner guard on the other side. 2 or 3 being called. It's a little deeper of a guard. Going to, looks like a 2.
Can't hit yet. Can't hit yet.
Jazzy saying what about hitting, but can't hit yet because it's not, can't hit for the first 5 rocks, at least not a guard. Top of the house is being called. John's top 8's being called. Top 4. Back 4. Looks like a little heavier. Oh, it's back of the house now. And maybe it's just saying sweep it out. Yep, they're just going to sweep it out. Okay. Matt setting up the double corner. Tim's shot is away. Sharon's being called to sweep. Looks like it's curling a little too much. Going to be a double guard, but side by side double guard. See which one Jazzy goes to take out. Gonna try to take this out. No, going for the other one. Oh, trying to see if they can get rid of 2 for 1 here. Center one, the most dangerous one here. Normal up. Sweeping hard. Sweeping hard. Good sweep by Dan. Keeps it from nosing and leaving replacement guard. Matt calling for another guard. Looks like this is going to be put pretty much back where the yellow one was, a little deeper. Meanwhile, Sean's there to steal some pizza. Jazzy going to take out the guard. Four stones remaining for each team. Firm is called. Don't want anything to stick around. Sweeping, oh, yes. Hard, hard, hard. Good sweep in here. Keeps it. And all the way and out. Matt's running out of rocks and gonna go for under the guard now. Sweep and keep it straight. Trying to bury it now. Tim's doing a good job of that. And good draw there. Firms the call. Needs to curl. That's floating out there. Floating out there. It's coming back. And just takes it out. That was pretty close, but he made it. Matt's got to make each one of these next 3 rocks count. If Team While My Front End Gently Weeps hits one out, it will be the end of the game. Well, not technically, since he could promote one of the guards, but gonna take out guard. Try a double here, looks like.
Yeah, I mean, the closer one's probably right.
I like the center too.
Whatever you like. Whatever you like. Okay.
Yeah, two center.
Debating whether to go for the closer one, which is easier to split, or the center one. Center one is called. Dan's first. Peel it. Jazzy is calling hard. And hits the one, bounces out. Matt's first skips down. Trying to make a decision here how to do this. Looks like he's going to try to promote. Looking at promoting the guard. Needs to promote the guard and spill his shooter into the rings. Needs to somehow manage to get 3 with his last 2 rocks. And first skip stone for Matt is away. Backline weight called. Needs to just hit this. Hits it. He goes in but his shooter hits out. Now, looks like they are shaking. Acknowledge they're not going to make it, so it is a victory for While My Front End Gently Weeps, making the weeping teams both into the final. While yesterday all my draws seemed so far away, will be in the D event final at 9 a.m. While My Front End Gently Weeps will be playing Help, I Need a Sweeper in the A event final tomorrow at 11:30. Thank you all for watching, and we will be back tomorrow.